Hey guys, welcome back to Margot Watches Movies. My name is Jake Margot. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing a new film on Apple TV called The Lost Bus. It stars Matthew McConaughey, America Ferrera, and Yul Vasquez. Directed by Paul Greengrass, director of The Bourne Supremacy, The Bourne Ultimatum, United 93, and Captain Phillips. Paul Greengrass is a director that excels within this genre, based on true story with thrill elements interwoven into the story naturally there, documenting times, dates, setting up the event, letting the event unfold. This is based on the 2019 campfires in California. The general synopsis is Matthew McConaughey is a school bus driver in California tasked with evacuating children from one point to another in the midst of this horrible wildfire. I'm going to stay away from spoilers here, but I am going to get into why I think the movie works so well. I think this is a really well done movie. I think it's worth your time. I'm going to give some caveats to that, though. I think that this is a harrowing watch at times. There's real life horror baked into this film because, again, it's based on a true story. Paul Greengrass does such a good job at setting up the stakes of the film. The first 30 to 40 minutes is masterful filmmaking, I think, and really laying out not only how quickly and out of nowhere that these fires can occur, but how quickly as well that they can spread, the devastation they wreak, the hopelessness of being caught in it. And as somebody who's really only viewed wildfires through the lens of seeing it on the news, when it, at this point, seemingly every year seems to happen in California, it's insane. Actually, it's quite sobering how Greengrass showcases 180 mile per hour gust of wind in an ember in a dry spot, and boom, we're off to the races. I think the majority of this film is pure white-knuckled tension. I told you the synopsis. It's a bus full of kids trying to escape a fire. There is very obvious built-in stakes, the highest of stakes. It's based on a true story. It's very hard not to watch this film and be terrified. I think it's uncomfortable at points. There's a lot of emotion in this film. This was a film, I think the last time I probably shed a tear in a movie is La La Land. This movie got a couple tears out of me. In a good way, I'd say. But I think a film like this needs payoff. It has it. But wow. So, besides that, McConaughey, we'll get into the acting performances. McConaughey as the lead character in this film is really, really good. It's always a nice reminder to see McConaughey in a role like this, getting to work his chops, bringing depth and dimension to a character that a lesser actor might struggle in. And I think along with America Ferrera, who's also great in the film, that's another aspect of this film I really liked, is the script and Greengrass do not portray these people as superheroes in a sense. These are not invulnerable, invincible people. These are just normal, everyday people caught in this horrible, harrowing, near hopeless situation and doing the best they can. And there's heroism in that. And it's why this movie was probably made. That's why they focused on this aspect of the story, is these two people doing everything they can to assuage their own fears and keep it together for this bus full of children. It's great stuff. It is. And it's devastating at another level. It's so sad to see how something like this can happen, the lives that are lost. And I would say for the most part, thankfully, the movie doesn't, Greengrass has had controversy in some of his other films. He did a film about the island shooting. Was it in Norway, where the guy went to the island and shot up a bunch of kids at like camp? where he showcases maybe a little bit too much of that, and it's not an easy watch because you know that this happened. I think he stays away from showing too many of the casualties, which I think is probably for the best. You get enough to really set the scene. You get more than enough. But it doesn't feel overdone or excessive or reality porn, like in a sense, uh, disaster porn. But it's free on Apple TV if you have a subscription. I think it's well worth a watch this weekend. I think if you're looking for something to watch, you could do a whole lot worse. This is a really good movie to me. I think it's pretty close to a must-see gem, and I'll have my rating scale in the description below if you're curious about that. But I'm fluctuating between very watchable and must-see gem, 7.5 to 8 range. But yeah, I mean, besides that, Paul Greengrass really directs his ass off this movie. But that's about all I really want to say without getting into spoilers. I think it's worth a watch. It's a relatively humorless film. It's a very humorless film, which I don't necessarily think real life tragedy needs jokes to cut through tension. He definitely stays away from that. It's very serious. It takes itself very serious. It takes the subject matter and the true story of it very serious. And you also have this first responder angle. You played the fire chief, played by Yul Vasquez. You get this glimpse into what's going on, kind of like classic, like invasion style, where you're on the ground level and then you have like the military base. It's done similar in that concept, and you really get a sense of how hard it is for these well-intentioned first responders to combat a fire of this size, especially with the winds, and you're trying to drop water and nothing's effective. I mean, it really frames these tragedies in a light that I think that's part of the power of cinema. You can have a tendency to be someone that watches news and you're seeing it from the bird's eye, right? Like you're a helicopter viewer, an airplane viewer. You don't get a sense of just how devastating it can be at the ground level. And this is a film, I think, that does a good job of opening eyes to people that maybe are numb to these tragedies due to the frequency that they occur. And it makes you feel like there's something we got to do here to prevent this. There's got to be some way. And I don't have a solution to that. I'm just reviewing a movie. But there's got to be some way to combat this preemptively, because it's very evident from this movie that at a reactionary level, it becomes very difficult to stop these. It has to be done preemptively. So it's my little soapbox, but let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Did you like the movie? Did you like the review? I'm a new channel. I'm growing. I appreciate feedback. If you didn't like something I do, let me know. But getting close to 100 subscribers. Give me a subscribe if you like it. We'll have more movies. I do a lot of TV show reviews as well. But this is my review of The Lost Bus. 7.5 to 8 range. Very watchable to must-see gem. So that's all for tonight. My name is Jake Margo. This is Margo Watches Movies. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.